right, guys. Before we get into things here, let me briefly talk about Eco-ternal Weekend. We all know Eternal Weekend is coming, but how do you like Eco-ternal Weekend as a couple of warm-up tournaments? I have a cool sponsorship from Card Titan. They are giving out a weekend pass and a main event ticket to anybody who registers before August 1st. I have paintings lined up from Kai Sawatarix, one for the winner of Legacy, one for the winner of Vintage. Kai will sit down with you and execute your idea. So let's say you win the tournament with whatever your favorite deck is. He can make this happen, just like he did last year for Kelvin Wallace and Max Storshin, who won in Legacy and Vintage, respectively, at Eternal Weekend. I think they got some awesome Luris and Grim Monolith paintings, winning with Luris Control and Mystic Forge. So let me just quickly walk you through the details here. These are the dates. Legacy, September 6th. Vintage, September 20th. It's going to be starting at 7 a.m. Pacific, played on Magic Online with closed deck lists, Swiss, and a top 8, so we play all in one go. Here's the prices, whether you want to become a subscriber, awesome. Whether you don't, and you just want the one-shot ticket, all good. And as I told you, the painting is the main prize, but I also guarantee 500 treasure chests for the Legacy portion and 10 more per player. So let's say over 80. So let's say there's 81 players. That means 510 treasure chests. Let's say it's 40 players, 500 treasure chests guaranteed. This is the deal of a lifetime and should be a lot of fun as well. Vintage, similar. Here's the date, same details, except I'm lowering this number to 40. I expect Legacy to be way more, popular than Vintage. 200 treasure chests guaranteed and plus 10 per player over 40. So let's hope to see you over there. I think this is a no-brainer to put in the calendar. I hope you feel the same. Now let's get into some Legacy. All right, guys, let's play some Legacy. Today in front of me I have a sweet control deck, and let's go through the details. So this is Jeskai Wizards, basically built off of the printing of Flame of Anor, the fact that Tamiyo is an amazing Legacy card, one of the best cards in the format. And then we have some serviceable wizards in Thundertrap Trainer. And funnily enough, also a Blood Moon effect here in Magus of the Moon that are also wizards, and thus turning on this, multi-mode spell. So Jeskai Wizards has a very, very consistent mana base. It has generically, disruptive cards against the field, from forces to removal spells. My personal take on the deck is adding Minor Misstep in a world of, Entomb, Reanimate mainly, but then it can always counter stuff like Plow to protect your Murktide, Crop Rotation against lands, mid-game Brainstorm, turn 1 Tamiyo on the play. Just does a bunch of stuff for very little investment. And I think it's time to main deck some of these bad boys in a color combination that doesn't have good anti-graveyard hate options. I also play Preordain. It's kind of an old philosophy of, if you play Ponder, you need to play like Miracle cards, or you need to play Delver, or you need to play Combo, or you need to be playing a deck with somewhat of a low lane count that can keep one-landers. And if you don't check any of those boxes, I just like Preordain to keep things moving as a good land-spell ratio fixer, basically. I also decided to add some win conditions to the deck, mainly a couple of Murktide Regents to kind of close out some Ancient Tomb combo decks. And then we have a single 4th Yolingus for, some random closing power to keep your opponent off balance as well. Because frequently this card will be good early, but not expected, or it will be super good late with a bunch of mana in play. Sideboard, I have to address Reanimator in a serious fashion here, so I decided to add 4 copies of Surgical Extraction. The reason why I like those is you can find them off Trainer, or turn 1 cantrip and actually cast the card. Let's say this is Pharmacop, then I can't Thundertrap Trainer into it, so if this gets countered today, oh well, but if we find it on Trainer, scoreboard. Second, Magus to kind of have this Blood Moon land more viable against greedy decks and lands. Some more anti-counters here, the standard blasts. I consider this pile the kind of the flex slots, so I really wanted to focus against combo. So I like my third negation, is we're a slow deck that's giving the combo deck a lot of time. This is kind of a decent way to circumvent that. Going up to the third, so you more frequently put together double force plus double blue card and try and close out the game with, I don't know, a Murktide. Then I have a Stony and Nullrod split here. The split is not very well thought through. I guess there's something about Karn, turning an all red into a creature, killing it with a K command. But then again, Stony Silence costs white mana, so who knows? Single consign, mainly against Mystic Forge, but also good against, you know, Mono Red Prison, Lands, etc. And then Wrath of the Skies. Wrath of the Skies, I wish I could play a second copy of. Just being able to sweep assorted creature decks is insane, and then the meltdown mode against, you know, Ursa Saga decks is also awesome. I forgot to talk about the dress downs in the main deck, actually. They're basically the reason I can play a deck without Wasteland here, with Ursa Saga being such a big force in the metagame. So, yeah. Let's see how this goes. I'm pretty excited for this one. All right, round 1 on the draw here. 5 lands with a Preordain and a Magus. Nice message from my opponent here. Let's see. This Preordain is probably searching for a Brainstorm to salvage this hand. I'll try this. I don't necessarily recommend keeping a 5-lander. Okay, I'm scared now, but I think I have to assume I'm not up against Oops All Spells. I think I should assume I'm up against some Necrodominance deck. With that being said, I'll Preordain for a force here and see if I succeed. Preordain. Find the force, that's pretty cool. Pass. My game plan is basically hope that Force of Will is enough to get me to Magus and lock my opponent. My hand has the option to go, you know, fetch out basics so I can play all cards in my deck, I guess, aside from the Murktide. So let's Force a Will here. Lose to a Pact, obviously. The opponent invests a Ritual, kills me here. I'm gonna get the info on my opponent's deck before I go to sideboarding. It's been a while since I've seen Oops All Spells. Oh, I guess they also needed the Spirit Guide. Okay, okay. So let's see here. That one. See what's going on here. Anything cool about their deck? I guess I'm not supposed to get, you know, opponent shouldn't see the Magus, basically. This looks very standard. All right. Oops All Spells, everybody. I don't know what's going on here. Trying to click the right button. All right, I seem to be back. I couldn't click anything. It was kind of a weird Windows bug where I keep getting the like whatever alert sound. Doesn't matter. All right, so I'm playing against the Pact of Negation version, which is interesting. So let's see. I have a lot of bad cards here. My deck is not really set up to beat that deck. In the main deck, at least. I do have a good sideboard, so I think playing... So these would be basically anti-Belcher cards. So is Flame of Anor, though. Maybe this is why I'm supposed to do like this. So that I... yeah, remove those, obviously. I have all the cheap Graveyard Hate. This card also counters Belcher. I'm trying to think about if I need the 3rd Pyroblast. Do I have a worse card in here now than the 3rd Pyroblast? Minor Misstep is good. If I go Land Pass, I can counter Rituals. I can counter Thoughtseize. That's decent. I think I like all of these cards. And then just having 2 Pyroblasts. Maybe I can cut a land here. Yeah. Okay, I'm glad I noticed this, because I'm not using my planes for anything. And they're not attacking my mana, so cutting a planes for a 3rd Pyroblast is good. So I will say, I really, really like my setup against Oops All Spells here. But the fact that my game 1 is not good against the deck is kind of scary, because it's a lot of pressure. It doesn't take a lot of, like, you know, borderline hand or a little bit of a mulligan and the opponent having a good hand, and then it's just over, right? Yeah, I think let's play land pass here. It's interesting. I'm right now. I'm playing around my opponent having turn 1 kill with pack backup, which I'm not sure I should give them that respect, to be honest. So what am I doing if I get thought seized here? The opponent is thought seizing himself. I think I should allow that with how my hand is set up. Let's see what that means. It obviously means they have reanimate and double pack. Wow, this is insane. So my opponent has, let's see, Underseed Informer gone, those 5 cards. So now I need to preordain into action or I'm dead. Tough crowd. Wow, nice draw. Very nice draw. So let's see. I should certainly pass the turn here. I don't think I'm supposed to surgical now. If I surgical now, I just feel like it's such a big... The opponent will fight here. I have double backup. Then I'm winning the game unless my opponent draw exactly 3rd pact. Let's play Preordain and play a Volcanic Island. So is this where I bottom to get my opponent to go for it? I think that's the move. Wow, even another surgical. Okay, well, opponent, you had a sicko hand, but I had a better one. So let's... Let's think here. Is there any way my opponent does not, you know, commit these pacts? I'm thinking if I want to show surgical or not. I think it's fine to show surgical. Surgical. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the opponent will do this a lot. So let this... Maybe I just Pyroblast here. Counter target spell if it's blue. The opponent has a 2nd pact. So they should let this resolve and then pact, or just, you know, pact onto the surgical at least. Pact onto the surgical, indeed. So I need to let that happen. This happens, and I force to reanimate, I guess. All right, pretty action-packed turn here. That's funny. You're up, opponent. All right, so now I have to have a surgical or a force or a negation in my opener. Minor misstep becomes a lot worse, but it's still a blue card. Okay, so I don't know if I just gave my opponent a reason to go faster or a reason to go slower. It's always tough to say against those decks. Who knows how they're thinking about the game. That was very scary. I needed to come up with double or triple. Did I need triple there? Yeah, right? Because they had reanimated and double packed. Yeah, I needed triple interaction. That was pretty cool to see. Okay. I also keep here. So I'll keep any one interactive hand, and now I have double. You have to think a little bit about force negation. Let's see what this is. This is a duress. I feel like I should counter this duress. Duress is a good one. Reminds me of the good old Storm days. Trainer. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I can get any mileage out of developing the mountain. I don't feel like my opponent can respect Pyroblast. Or, you know, change their behavior based on Pyroblast. Also, my opponent knows I'll keep any hand with one interactive spell. So there's a little bit of, I guess, dynamic going on here where, okay, that's a good card. That works. So now my opponent can clear the surgical. And then I can play trainer, hopefully. Yeah, the opponent has to pass. So now I need to get a little bit lucky. Oh. Okay, so the opponent's playing out the Informer here and killing me next turn. That's a good play. Oh, Poxwalkers. Okay, that's super weird. Do I want to thin the deck here? Fetch Volcanic, play Trainer. Yes, let's try that. Fetch Volcanic, play Trainer. Force a Will. Probably the card I need to take here, because I'm losing to creatures. My opponent right now doesn't know about the Flooded Strand. I'm under some questionable amount of aggro here. This is actually, yeah, this could be a heads-up play by the opponent getting the Poxwalkers going, but I'm not sure. I think because I play Flame of Anor, I'm taking this damage. I think that's totally fine. And now it's everything from I'm dead to I get to play the game. Okay, so the opponent can cycle. I draw Brainstorm, which is very strong. So let's cast that card. That was insane. Brainstorm was so cool there. These basic lands are atrocious. So now the question becomes, do I develop this Tamiyo? I think I do. What's the price of developing the Tamiyo? It's basically that I can lose on this turn cycle. What happens if I wait a turn? Then I can play Tamiyo, hold up Dress Down. Maybe that's better. This could be where I'm blocking, actually. How does this game play out? Next turn I play Tamiyo, hold up Dress Down. Then I start attacking with clues. Yeah, I think this is how I play. I kind of want Life Total to play with here. And I have my Wizard in Tamiyo. Here comes the draw from the Lantern. Opponent exiling the Surgical. It's a good play. I actually forgot about that kind of Relic of Progenitus mode. As always, thanks so much for joining me here in my Legacy adventures. It's always a treat to press record. Okay, so let's see. Here's a Boggart Trawler, which is another embarrassing card, but it's kind of doing something in my opponent's Delver plan here. So let's see. Why did the opponent exile 2 Spirit Guides here? I have no idea why that's the case. So let's block that Delver. Do I want to draw land? I don't think I want to draw land. I think I want to get closer to some good stuff. Do I have any white cards in my deck? I don't, so I fetch Volcanic Island. Is that correct? All right, let's draw. We do have our Murktides that stop this card. We have another Trainer that would stop this card. Do have some life, some time to play around with here. I can also get to a spot and flip my Tamiyo. In general, I think the draw steps are working in my favor, and then there's just the life points to think a little bit about. Let's see, Boggart Trawler. What can you do? Get in for 3. I'm at 12. Holding up Hardcast Negation. Hanging on to my fetch because I play cantrips. mainly this card. What a draw. So here comes the Tamiyo attack plus flip. Set up my hand, flip a walker. Cast Brainstorm. It's funny, I don't even know what this is. When it has one card left. I don't even know what this is. I guess I'll just let my opponent play. Oh, it's to kill the Tamiyo. Ah, that's super cool. Okay. That is cool. I will hard cast negation here to protect my walker. Okay. So I guess I go for this one. Force negation. With my Tamiyo. So now it is a punching bag. So I guess if I put back double flame, I can go Tamiyo flame next turn. I think I should only put back one flame, actually. Because if I am forced to force, I think I pitch a flame. Okay, put a flame on top. Flip my walker. And from here, it's looking grim for the opponent, I must say. Thoughtseize. That's not bad. That's a good start for the opponent. I think they have to take Force of Will here. All right. The opponent has seen enough. So basically they're saying, even if they take the Force, I go Tamiyo, kill that card, draw 2, pick up Tamiyo, then the following turn I can bring back the Force with the Tamiyo. So yeah, I got my opponent here. That was a very compact, like stressful set of games. The opponent had turn 2 with double pack backup, and we were able to defeat that. That was a pretty cool start. Let's see if we can get a few more nice matches in. All right, next match against Lightwalker. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that's like a known painter player. Let's see if that's true. My hand is decent here against non-fast combo, as per tradition. So let's see here. I can go off basics here. Plains, mountain, island. That's probably decent. I have a decent curve here. If I get to plow end of turn especially, I get to trainer into flame. Let's see if this is some kind of surveil land. Probably is. Okay, so historically, painter have been splashing white for stuff like plow. Let's see if that is still the case. Or I could be misremembering on the name, actually. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, he's Goblin Welder. And a land. Okay. So I think I want to use my mana here and plow the Welder. Especially because it invalidates, you know, the flames later on anyway. So this is just solid. So now I think it's time to play Trainer, which, to be fair, could get blasted. Does not get blasted. Never mind. Okay, my opponent now knows about Flame. They just don't know that I have a big pile of them. So let's see. Maybe the opponent could go something like Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Portable Hole, sure. Here's here's Magus of the Moon. Okay, this is pretty cool. So Magus of the Moon is something I don't mind and play right now. So maybe I play that and play Tamiyo. So now I'm kind of threatening the good modes on Flame of Anor again, and I have Force Backup even. Like my spot here. Yeah, my opponent didn't like their spot. So I guess I didn't confirm the painter, but almost, right? Portable Hole. Let's see. Would you just play a single copy of that card because you have Engineer in your deck? I guess it's solid because you're also going to be playing against Null Rod some of the time. So let's see what I like here first. I don't love counters against Painter. I think they're mainly bad cards. I love all of these cards. I don't love this Magus either. So I end up here I have 7 bad cards. Here I have 6 good cards. I mean, I can always keep a force. That's not embarrassing. Surgical. There's some counterplay against welders with surgical, but I don't think that's how you play. I think it's better to just have 1 force. Okay. So now I end up with a little bit of the awkward, if they moon, I'll never Wrath of the Skies, or at least, you know, almost never double planes, I guess. But I think this is fine. Yeah, this deck also won a challenge recently. Slightly different version. I did tech a little bit, but the whole concept is just, the cards are just so solid. You're not playing any, you can argue Thundertrap Trainer is not exciting, of course, but I think it's fine. All right, this is a hand where I can use cantrips to hopefully get into the game. This is where Preordain is also slightly better than Ponder. You can have these, you know, Preordains where you end up seeing like 1 good card, 2 bad cards. I'm talking about Ponder, obviously. Preordain, it's a little bit more simple to resolve the quote-unquote sleight of hand mode on it. I do find my second land. My opponent's passing here, so this looks like some blast turn. I'm trying to think how to approach that. I could go Brainstorm Preordain here. Is that good? Maybe I should go Preordain. What am I fetching to cast the Tameo? That's kind of the problem. Okay, let's Preordain first. This could hit up a blast. It doesn't. Okay. That Brainstorm is kind of redundant. You love me an extra land. Then I can fetch Volcanic, play Tameo, which will surely die, but it's cards I have to kind of clear eventually. So whether this is Plow or Blast, I don't know, but it's going to die. And I don't mind that because, you know, I have a second. My sideboard plan is I want to focus on the 1-for-1 game. And I hope to do it better than my opponent. Okay, wow. So my opponent also has a 1-for-1 hand. Bunch of blasts, bunch of swords, I believe. So now I can maybe use Minor Misstep to protect the Tameo. Alternatively, I just go Trainer, hold up Minor Misstep. Maybe that's better. I use my mana slightly better. Let's tap like this. Play Trainer. I will Minor Misstep a blast. Pick up Dress down here. That's actually, I guess, solid Ursa Saga coverage for later. Should I have played the Tameo here? I'm actually not sure. Let's see what this is. I think right now they don't want Flame of Anor turned on. So there's a chance this eats something. This Grindstone, a card I will Minor Misstep. Notably, they can find it later with Welder, so it's not like I'm out of the woods or anything. Okay, draw another Trainer. So, guess my opponent's hand is Plows. I can keep doing this. That's not bad. I can try and look for a Plow. Hold up white, look for a Plow. Is that good? Maybe this is better. Brainstorm into, I guess, the wrong land. Okay, so I'm thinking this Murktide is not that great. I kind of want to go slower. So what if I put back? But I guess maybe I cast Trainer next turn and I want the Murktide in rotation. Okay. Let's think about this. Maybe this brainstorm is not that great. I can do like this. Pass holding up Hydro. End step Flame of an Ore. I don't know if it's worth it to flame a land, draw 2. Is that even good? Hmm. I think I'll do that because I really want to use my mana here. So target player draws 2, destroy artifact. I really want to use my mana here, and if I trade with a blast, it's fine. Okay, I got lucky there, I think. Wow, so now I have a lot of anti-combo insurance. So now I could play another trainer, hold up blast and plow. That sounds pretty strong, but I also want to hit my land drops. Brainstorm's my friend. Okay, I'll try and brainstorm. You hit the land. Maybe this game is not about Murktide Regent. Maybe I'm just trying to outgrind my opponent. So if I put back Murk and Tameo, is that crazy? Put back Murk, Tameo, fetch another trainer, hold up all of my interaction. All right, let's try it out. I need blue mana. So now tap like this, I think. Play trainer, resolve trainer, preordain brainstorm. Just love my hand too much. I'll go preordain. Pass. This feels like Magic just like old times. Like just grinding incrementally. Wow, the opponent's draw has been atrocious. That is a big advantage if you're trying to grind. Here's Goblin Welder, a card that I will probably Hydro end of turn. All right, let's untap. Get in there. Cast Preordain. Are these cards any good? They're probably better than random cards. Not sure about the Dress Down though. Dress Down is a pretty neat counter for like Goblin Engineer. We'll try and dig deeper for something else. I do like the ending though. Play land. Pass. I will most likely hang on to this flame unless they present an artifact target. Or creature target, I guess. My opponent has 3 cards in hand. And I think it's very safe to say that my hand's better than my opponent's, and I'm attacking with these otters. Let's pass again. I'm covered with Saga here on Dress Down. Combo coverage. Yeah, this is just... The opponent needs something special here, I think. Let's see if they can muster something special. I'm trying to think what I do about a Fury. Maybe I just Hydroblast it. I could also Dress Down Flame of an Ore. Oh, 4th Theolingus with backup. I didn't think about that. Okay. That is cool. 4th... Oh, Fury with some floating mana. Let's see, I have 2 options here. I can either go Dress Down Flame of an Orid, and I think I should do that because of what I just realized about 4th Theolingus. So, let's see. I will cast Dress Down in response. The opponent will counter that. So I guess now is where I have to make some kind of decision if I want to lose to fourth Eolingus next turn. I think the answer to that question is no. So what do I do here? Build the Fury, draw 2. Build the Fury, draw 2. Those guys are dead. And then I actually think I'm taking the turn here. Maybe not. Maybe this ending is not that great. I'm trying to think about, I don't have any like super mana intensive cards, so I think it's good for me to take the turn. Wrath of the Skies is not the best here. Let's see if I can find something proactive. This is something proactive, so I can get rid of a land. Is it just the Wrath here? Seems like I'm trying to deal with things one by one. So let's play Trainer. Trainer into a Null Rod. Sure. Pass. So my clock is not impressive. I do have 2 Murktide in my deck. I have Tamiyo in my deck. I have 5 interactive spells. Portable Hole is something I can consign. But then I'm tapping down. Oh, that one. That is all goody. So now I can get it back with ending. That is actually incredible for me. Get back the Otter. Trigger it. GG's. Opponent had seen enough. So I guess they didn't have the 4th Eolingus, but I think I'm very proud about like realizing how can I actually lose this game. And my opponent is never going to painter me. My opponent is never going to... I guess Urza's Saga was something until I drew the consign. And then just realize how can you actually lose this game where you're ahead on so many cards and card quality. But yeah, that was pretty sick to see. Let's play one more before we wrap up the video. All right, 3rd match is upon us here. And yeah, this hand is not ideal. So should I turn 1 Brainstorm? I don't think so. I think I should just play Mountain turn 1, then kind of delay the plows, which is not ideal. There's something about Snow-Covered Mountain Pass that it has some chance to, you know, do well against all-in combo when I have a force, but let's see about that. Also, without Loran Reveal in the deck, Trainer is not a mana source, which can be annoying. Throwing a Ponder is fine. So if this is Tempo, I'm very happy. If this is some Sneak and Show deck Sculpting, I'm less happy. This also makes it slightly challenging for me to resolve my trainer trigger. 3rd Plow. And I'm really hoping it's Tempo. Here's Trainer. The opponent knows what this means. It's unlocking Flame of Anor as well. Let's just take a cantrip here. So it's kind of a weird spot. I hope it's Tempo, but I don't want to get wasted. It's kind of an interesting situation. If this Cutter... Okay, so I have to fight Cutter on the stack here to not get completely crushed. Let's pitch the Brainstorm. Okay, this should be a fun one to end the video with. So here's Cutter with no Mung, obviously. And now I need to hit lands off of my Preordain. I don't think I have the luxury to do that. I need to Preordain into a land, then do it. And that is not a land that casts an otter, so I'll attack for 1, and I'll probably start the annoying journey of plowing monks out of a token maker. Or Steel Cutter, what a card. I've won a few challenges with that card. That's sweet. Okay, why did the opponent play a land out first instead of... They could potentially see something like, I don't know, Ponder Wasteland, and they would have wanted to waste me. But I'm happy with this mid-list land drop. This is something that I see a lot of players make, like unnecessary land drops ahead of schedule, because it's not like I could have anything like Spell Pierce or whatever here. So it's just might as well cast the cantrip first. So I guess if the opponent already had second Merc, they had a good idea they wanted to do this, but there was no, guarantee about that. I guess Murktide is one of the best things for me to see right now. So let's try and kill the Murktide. I guess this is lazy. If my opponent had Force Blue card, it's 1 free damage. Speaking of bad plays, a lot of in Magic is just about realizing the small details and getting good habits in the sequencing. It's something that I continuously try and work on. So I guess we trainer here, and I think I'm supposed to plow now because of how Cutter works. Let's plow that card and get in there with the Otter. So it looks like I've grinded my opponent down, but I really haven't. All they take is like cantrip and a cantrip, and all of a sudden they're ahead on board again. So, or even like a wasteland to slow me down here. Like there's a lot of things. Yeah, this is exactly it. So this is the reason why I waited with plow. Let's say they had a daze, they would have to do it on my turn, right? Making the Cutter worse. Yeah, so here's the double cantrip. Here's the monk I was talking about, and I'm in a spot where it would be awesome to see my second blue source soon. It's kind of a race between me finding that for Murktide and the opponent finding their first wasteland. And I don't like that. Don't like that. I'm going to take 2 damage here. Also worth noting, Flame of Anor is an incredible answer to Core Steel Cutter. I guess I fetch an island and jam a regent. I'll keep playing around days here by holding up 2 mana. So the opponent probably has like 1 Brazen Borrower in their deck to handle that Murktide, and 2 of their own Murktides are gone, if I'm correct. Yeah. I think I like this situation. I'm not going to plow here because I have this monk under control. So I'd much rather wait for something like a, I guess, Murktide. They're trying to go wide here. I believe my opponent's hand is at least 1 lightning bolt. I feel like it's time for me to find the Flame of Anor soon. Let's see what this is. This could very well be Murktide. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I guess they just shuffled. They plan to like move on here with maybe a Ponder. Here's a Bauble. Another token. This is now a 4/4. I think I can get into a cool situation here where my opponent sends... I can block, the opponent will bolt, and then hopefully I can blow them out a little bit with plow. Let's see if that works. My opponent sees my top card. Let's see if they're attacking with anything here. They're not attacking. Should I plow end of turn, or should I wait for some kind of blowout? I think I'll try and wait here. So the opponent draws... They draw Tameo, which is not bad. Let's cast Preordain. These cards are not impressive. That card is somewhat impressive. Now I have to realize if I'm attacking with his Murktide or I'm staying back. I could see attacking being the way to win this game. So let's... Let's try and play this trainer. I'm still looking for Flame of Anor. There's Flame of Anor. Yep, like that card. So now, is it just time to slow down because that Flame of Anor is kind of the inevitability? What if I get forced on that card? Okay, I'll try and pass here. Still have the plow. I don't want to use it. I don't want to make Days Alive card unless I absolutely have to. Looks like my Merc... Oh, let's see. Opera Love Song. That is incredibly funny. Exile the top 2. One has 2 cards in hand. Sure. So obviously the opponent can't... Okay, so Bolt land, I believe. This is kind of the spot I was talking about where the opponent can attack and then use Bolt to kind of trying to finish off the Murktide. Here's the land. Bolt in the back pocket. 3 cards in hand. I'm trying to successfully get to the next turn. Lightning Bolt onto a trainer. Sure. So now no cards in the bonus zone. That card is dead. It's annoying my opponent has got me into a spot where Daze is actually good because I might need to plow here. Yeah, Cutter is a one hell of a card. It kind of lets you just churn cantrips and actually get somewhere. Okay, just attack with that card. Maybe this is where I take the damage. What happens if I plow that card? Then the opponent can... They obviously have another bolt. This is their way to get rid of Murktide. What happens if I plow that card? The opponent dazes. That would be kind of disastrous. My opponent just played land, so I'm not getting wasted. That is decent. Okay, I'm going to try and plow here. I certainly don't love this because they had so much time to find the daze, but they didn't have it, so it's very, very good for me. I think they had too much time to find the daze there. I don't really think that had a very high chance of succeeding. Now, on the other hand, I feel like I should try and kill Cutter and draw 2 cards. Leaving the monk, is that fine? Probably. Draw. And I expect to get force pitched here, by the way. I think that's very high likelihood, but that is also decent for me, because then my opponent's double spell potential is very low. Okay, that works. So now I think I play Tamio, even though I suspect it will get bolted, but the opponent will bolt end of turn anyway, so I don't think that's super bad. I will attack now. I think Tamio gets bolted. The opponent gets a monk before their turn and is hellbent. Stifle's good to know about. Here's the bolt that we anticipated because of the monk attack last turn. And I plowed in anticipation of the rest of my opponent's hand being force blue card, because I was going to Flame of Anor and play Tamio this turn. So a lot of high-level magic being played here. And this is where I have to dodge like cantrip, cantrip. I think I take the damage here. I think my opponent has drawn one spell. Wonder what that spell is. Maybe it's Force of Will. Put a double block, maybe. Oh, nice draw. I feel like if I attack with Murktide. So now if my opponent has exactly Force of Will number 3. Would they make that attack with having drawn a force? They did not make that attack. Yeah, actually, they could have force. So if I flame now and I get forced, the opponent has all the mana. But I think it's worth it because... yeah, I think it's worth it. Let's see if I get Hardcast Force. I did not get Hardcast Forced on. So now... feel like I should just hold up Force of Will. I have lethal between Murktide and one Otter getting through, so my opponent can't really get anywhere with the monks. Let's see what this is. Dragon's Rage Channeler. Okay, that card is fine. I feel like they can't attack here. I have to pass. Double block 1, I believe. Let's see what the opponent's got here. Bolt. It's probably something. Oh, let's see what this is. Let's see what this is. Okay, so firing off a Stifle in order to basically get in for 2 and kill 1 Otter. Sure, buddy. Now the Chandler's a chum block. I guess my opponent just died there. Okay. No, wait a minute. Yeah, it must block. Okay, got it. So for some reason I thought my opponent was at 1 life here. Let's see if I can find a removal spell. That is indeed the case. So let's draw and deal 5. Draw. Deal 5. And I'm lucky to take down game number 1. Oh, wow. That was a grind. Cutter is so insane. Double Stifle. That's very, very important against my deck. I lean a lot on, like, fetching basics with emphasis on fetching. So let's see here. The good thing is, when I play against Izzet, lots of these cards are going to be alive. Love those cards. Don't love those cards. I think those are quite bad. You can argue that, yeah, Magus of the Moon's probably worse, so... what about Fortheolingus? Is that a card? Or do I want double Force of Will? Probably want double Force of Will. So am I win condition light, or am I simply trying to like outgrind my opponent and it doesn't matter? I think Fortheolingus could be a big liability to draw. Adding 5 blasts and Wrath of the Skies, that sounds kind of good. Double checking all the other cards are bad. All right, let's see if we can finish in style here. This has been a fun deck to play. It's one of the decks that I, you know, worked on recently. I've updated a lot of content on my Metafy but the goal was to basically find 10 times 75s that were reasonable into the current metagame with Dimir Reanimator sitting on top. And I think it's fair to say I succeeded with this one. This hand is quite awesome. There's something about Wasteland that is kind of threatening. It's cool that I can just use my ending on a Chandler if I want to, like because I have the Wrath of the Skies and the Flame of Anor. Like, my deck has very good coverage against key artifacts. Tammy or Chandler, I'm killing right away. Let's see if I'm going to do it off of a basic Plains. Basic Plains. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe this get a little bit awkward. Maybe this is where I'm supposed to just go Tundra and delay my fetch decisions. Then if I get wasted, it is what it is. Let's see what I draw here. I draw Plateau. Does that change anything? Maybe it does. Maybe I just go Prismatic Ending on that card. So this is where my opponent can go Cutter Bauble and I would be sad. Or this and I'll be very happy. Okay. So they might have the draw 2 end of turn, so I don't think it's just all fun and dandy. Let's play another duel. If you have to Flame of Anor to, like, kill a random creature, it's really not ideal. Here's Brainstorm. If I had a Pyroblast, I probably would have fired it off, because it looks like my opponent is not really doing much. Also worth noting, if the opponent drops Land Cutter, they don't trigger it. Then on my turn, I will land Flame of Anor it. Okay, the opponent has a weird one here with no threats. Kind of like that. Here's Tamiyo, a card that will for sure get killed. I'm not sure I mind that. What happens if I go cast Brainstorm now? Wonder if I get Pyroblasted. This could be a good spot for the opponent. This looks like I don't have any more lands. Okay. Sometimes you have to make plays like this where you think you have a good spot against the opponent. So, funnily enough, I think Wrath of the Sky is not that good anymore. Maybe it's just that on the basic island. I think I'm fighting Murktide now, which is annoying. Could also be fighting Cutter plus Spell, in which case I want to fight on the stack. Maybe I play like, I want to leave the Wrath in the... Just don't think it's ever going to do anything. Guess I get ready with Fetch Volcanic here. I'll try and pass. This is maybe a bad read, but I either want to Hydroblast the end step draw spell, or my opponent's setup turn with Cutter. And then if that doesn't happen, I have wasted a bunch of mana here, which I'm not a fan of generally. I don't know. I had a feeling here. Okay, Days into the Graveyard. That makes a lot of sense with the way the game is progressing. And then passing. So my opponent is like infinite blasts and bolts, I guess. I think it's time for me to start like trading with those cards. Then kind of seeing where the dust settles. Let's play Thundertrap Trainer with no intention of fighting. This could be a decent... Yeah, I was about to say, this could be a decent Pyroblast target. The opponent knows that it's turning on Flame of Anor. Okay, that works. I will now play a Tamiyo with no intention to fight over that either. And then I'm a little bit scared about my... weakness to Daze at this moment. Okay, so we basically nailed our opponent's hand here. Also have to think about Stifle. So no matter if the opponent has Stifle or not, this is a good, this is a good fetch. So let's Hydra this on the stack. If I get Dazed, it is what it is. Then I can hopefully untap and, do some good things here. If the opponent has another Pyro, they will Pyro back to resolve this Cutter. Ooh, they're forcing here. So down to one Magic the Gathering card, and they didn't have Daze, so I think... Wow. That is a juicy draw if I ever saw one. So now I'm going to go draw 2, kill the Cutter, and I believe this game is done and dusted. The opponent even has the blast here. That's unlucky for the opponent. I will flip my Tamiyo and kill your cutter. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's unreasonable. That Force of Will was, funnily enough, super clutch. So now, I guess I'm weak to Murktide Region, which is kind of funny. Oh, the opponent concedes here. I was actually, funnily enough, I was weak to Murktide here because I've only drawn any like non-plow, non-pyroblast interaction. But yeah, that was a beating. Whew, what a deck. Jeskai Wizards, everyone. Not sure what to say about that. I think the deck performed incredibly well, showed resilience. Obviously work can be done when it comes to like win conditions are up for grabs, or for discussion rather. This Magus 2 in the 75. These slots basically, you can argue. I really love the surgicals. I mean, I obviously just face dupes all spells, but if I face Reanimator, I'm really happy with my trainers going to get surgical. So that was a sweet one. I hope you guys enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, as I often mention, I'm ramping up my content over on my Metafy leading up to Eternal Weekend. I have articles all the time. I have guest content. I have deck guides. I have just cool strategy articles. And most importantly, I have a huge and growing, thriving Discord server with 170 plus passionate legacy gamers. We have world champions over here. We have grinders, aspiring legacy crushers. Daily discussion. People get in voice chats, playtest matchups, share experiences, and they just grow stronger together day by day. So if you have the opportunity, go and check that out. I will happily welcome you over there and make you a Baron. With that being said, let's wrap up this video. I hope to see you back soon on the channel. Bye, guys.